So when our children were very little, we had 3 boys under the age of 5. There were times, I have to admit, as your rabbi, that I lost my cool a little bit and that I responded when they did what they weren't supposed to do in a way that might not have been so patient, and I occasionally raised my voice. So I decided to buy a book called How to Talk So Your Kids Will Listen and Listen So Your Kids Will Talk. And the idea was that you didn't yell, you didn't lose your cool, you would just calmly tell your child what behavior your child was doing, like, "Oh, I see that you just hit your brother." And then the child was supposed to internalize that and come to his own conclusion that it wasn't the right thing to do. So one morning, our middle son, who is going to be a father himself, God willing, soon in a few months, and will enjoy all of the pleasures that he gave me, he decided, he was not quite 4 years old, that he was going to take the toilet paper off of the little holder and run around the house unrolling it all over the living room and the kitchen and the dining room. And I lost it, and I admit that I yelled at him. And he looked at me and he said, "Read the book." I want to talk this morning about how important it is for us to learn how to treat each other more gently than we are sometimes inclined to do. And it's not just within families, it's also within our community, it's also within our society. There is so much yelling that takes place. Some of it takes place online, some of it takes place in person. Kohelet, Ecclesiastes, who is associated with King Solomon, he, at the end of his life, looked around and said, "Some of what I've acquired is important, much of what I've acquired is not so important." But he made the observation, Divrei Chachamim benachat nishma'in, which means, it's understood to mean that when you are a wise person and you speak gently, people will listen. Or, to put it this way, you are more likely to be heard if you convey your sentiments in a gentle way. There is so much yelling that takes place, and I admit that there are things that I want to yell about and things that I want to protest about, and I have protested many things, and I have joined protests, and I will continue to. But I believe, and I've been a rabbi now for roughly 30 years and a human being for more years than that, that seldom do I help people to see things differently when I'm yelling. It just doesn't achieve the right effect. You may recall that we had a president, Harry Truman, and many people were very supportive of him, and he would sort of tell it like it was. And what did people say when he was speaking? "Give 'em hell, Harry." Right. In other words, you get 'em, Harry. You just get up there and yell when you need to yell and be forceful. But what I noticed people did not say was, "Give me hell, Harry." People wanted Harry to give it to other people. If they agreed with the president, then they were happy when the president strongly excoriated people who felt differently. But nobody wanted to be on the receiving end of his ire. And I don't believe that people want to be yelled at. I don't believe that people want to be humiliated. I don't believe that people want to be talked down to, patronized in any way. Approaching things more gently, it doesn't always work, but I think it has a greater chance of leading to some possible increased understanding. So I'll just give 2 examples. Many experts of Israeli politics and society have said that when it comes to the current controversy over judiciary reform, you sit and you interview Israelis, and there is actually a lot more agreement over some significant issues than one might imagine. You look at the protests and you hear the volume and you think that there is a sharp rift that cannot be resolved. And those who understand the issues will tell you that there's more consensus among Israelis than you might imagine. And here in the United States, notwithstanding the screaming that takes place in a variety of quarters, research into public opinion about a variety of issues, even very controversial issues, suggests that there is actually more consensus than one might imagine. Yelling sometimes feels good. We get something off our chest. We feel like we've told the other person what we need to tell the other person. It seldom moves us forward in a helpful way. And what is true in our community and what is true in the societal and political realm, it's also true in our families. So I just want to invite you to take a moment and reflect. Think about the last time that you convinced a spouse, a partner, a child, a sibling, somebody within your own family to do something by yelling at them, by humiliating them, by threatening them. When was the last time that you actually moved somebody meaningfully from one place to another by using those means? We don't like it when other people get heated with us, and so why don't we think twice before inflicting that approach on somebody else? And obviously, we don't always convince each other. If you think about a child, or you think about a sibling, or you think about a spouse, sometimes we're just having a conversation that advances the thinking forward. They might not get to where we are, but we might meet each other in a helpful space somewhere in the middle. It almost never happens from yelling. So I want to reflect for a moment on this day, and then I want to share what I find to be a very meaningful poem about a father and a son, and the son's response to how his father treated him over the years. So starting with this day. So Shavuot is the day of revelation. Shavuot is the giving of the Torah. And we know, the way the Torah describes it, that it was very dramatic and it was actually forceful. There was thunder and lightning. The entire mountain was on fire. And there's actually a midrash that suggests that God held the mountain of Sinai up over the heads of the Israelites and said, if you accept the Torah, I'll put the mountain down gently. And if you don't accept it, I'll drop it on your heads. That is not exactly an example of a gentle approach. And yet, throughout history, we have said that God reveals God's traditions kima, a little bit at a time. And when we have the Kohanim offering the blessing, what do they say? We are commanded, livarech et amo Yisrael, to bless God's people, be'ahava, with love. If the Kohen doesn't offer the blessing with love, it doesn't really count. The idea is that we are supposed to be conveying our traditions, conveying our blessings, even conveying our disagreement with ahava, with love, with a certain gentle spirit. So why would rabbis threaten people, teenagers, older people, with, if you don't do this, that's going to happen. You're going to abandon your people. You're a bad person. So much of that kind of verbiage is incredibly unhelpful. Divrei chachamim benachat nishma'in. The words of the wise are much more likely to be heard when they are delivered gently. So I want to share with you a poem that was written by Yehuda Amichai, famous Israeli poet, and it's about his father. And it starts, I'll just do the first line in Hebrew, and you're welcome to read the rest in Hebrew if you like. I'll read it in English. Avi haya Elohim velo yada. My father was God and didn't know it. He gave me the 10 commandments, not in thunder and not in anger, not in fire and not in a cloud, but gently and with love. He added caresses and tender words, would you and please, and he chanted, remember and keep Shabbat with the same tune, and he pleaded and wept quietly between one commandment and the next. Thou shalt not take God's name in vain, not take it in vain. Please don't bear false witness against your neighbor. And he hugged me tight and whispered in my ear, you shall not steal, you shall not commit adultery, you shall not kill. And he laid the palms of his wide open hands on my head with the Yom Kippur blessings, honor and love, that your days might be long upon this earth. And the voice of my father, white as his hair, and he turned his face to me one last time, as on the day he died in my arms, and said, I would like to add 2 more commandments. The 11th commandment, thou shalt not change. And the 12th commandment, thou wilt surely change. Thus spoke my father, and then he turned and walked away and disappeared into a strange distance. Later in our service, we will be recalling those who are no longer physically present. We'll be recalling those who raised us and those with whom we shared much of our lives. I ask us to recall their gentle spirit, the many times that they hugged us and spoke to us with love and with care. And I ask us to think about what it will look like for us to pay that forward, to treat each other benachat, to speak to each other gently, so that we all have a much greater chance of hearing and absorbing and moving forward. Chag Sameach, Shabbat Shalom.